Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's devotional. This might probably be the first time many of you have seen my eyes. I was a bit worried, this morning. I lost my glasses, so that's going to be a very interesting moment for all of us being able to do this together, today. And I hope I'll be able to do well with the screen. And even as I'm trying to struggle to see where the Bible is at this time, but we are going to have a great time. So good morning. Today is the 17th day of January 2026, and it is day 17 in the Power Series. I hope you're having a great time. This is mine, signed, autographed by myself, and it's been wonderful just going through the lessons of the act of becoming. And today we're going to be taking it a little bit further. I'm really excited about today's class. And today's class is loving God with all your strength. Loving God with all your strength. And we have two key passages that we are going to be taking a look at. And that's going to be Mark chapter 12. Yes, Mark chapter 12 and Joshua chapter 14. I thought about just doing it without even reading the passage, so you guys can read the passage. But it is a passage that you all know well. It talks about the exploits of Joshua. I'm really excited about that one. So what I'm going to go ahead and just read Mark 12, verse 29 to 30. Very short, Mark 12, verse 29 to 30, which says the most important one. That's when Joshua was asked, which one is the most important, the most important commandment? So the most important one Jesus answered is this: Hear, O Israel. This is called the Shema. When Israelites wake up in the morning, they put up their hand and they raise up and they say, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the God is one. That's what they do. That's a love the Lord with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. So, which one is the greatest commandments? Jesus Christ said is to love God, really. And not just to love God, but to love God with all these faculties and all these situations and all the abilities that you have. Now, having done that, we're going to go to Joshua. Of course, you know these stories where they were going to enter the promised land. They were just at the precipice of the promised land. Joshua chapter 14, verse 6 to 14. Joshua 14, verse 6 to 14. Now the people of Judah approached Joshua. Okay, not just any other tribe. Judah approached Joshua at Gilead, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, said to him, You know what the Lord said to Moses, the man of God, at Kadesh Barnea, about you and me. They were the only two surviving spies. Remember the 12 spies? They were only two spies that said something positive. You know what he said about you and me, right? Okay, yeah, I know. Okay, I was 40 years old when Joshua, the servant of the Lord, again, my eye just came. I was 40 years old when Joshua, the servant of the Lord, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to explore the land. And I brought him back a report according to my convictions. But my fellow Israelites who went up with me made the hearts of the people melt in fear. I, however, followed the Lord my God wholeheartedly, till all my heart, wholeheartedly. So on that day, Moses swore to me, the land on which your feet have walked will be your inheritance, that of your children forever. Why? Because you have followed the Lord, my God, because I followed the Lord my God wholeheartedly. Now then, just as the Lord promised, he had kept me alive 45 years. So this guy was like 85 years right now. 45 years since the time that he said to Moses, while Israel moved about in the wilderness. So here I am today. Here I am. 85 years old. I am still as strong today as the day Moses sent me out. I am just as vigorous. Okay, I'm just as vigorous to go, to go out, to the battle now as I was then. Now, give me this hill country. Okay, give me this hill country. That is where nobody would like to go. Actually, give me this hill country that the Lord promised me that day. You yourself heard them that the Anakites, that's what he said, the Anakites, were there, and their cities were large and fortified. But the Lord helped me. I would drive them out, just as he said. Then Joshua blessed Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and gave him Hebron. Okay, Hebron is a beautiful place, but by the way, gave him Hebron as his inheritance. So Hebron has belonged to Caleb, son of Jephunneh, the Kenite, ever since, because he followed the Lord of God of Israel wholeheartedly. And that takes us to the title of today's class: loving God with all your hearts. Loving God with all your hearts. And after reading those primary, those scriptures, what I'm going to do today, I still want to go read the book. I want to go read the book. Very, very important. What I'm going to do today, I'm going to see if I can do some deep dive. Let's see if we can do some deep dive. I'm getting some feedback here. Let me see. We might need to mute a little bit. That will really help. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. All right. Let's go back. All right. So what I'm going to do this morning, or what I'm going to do together, is to see if we can do some deep dive to kind of help us see. I want to help us see about this love. This is not a very easy class to teach. If you are in my shoes, not a very, very easy class to teach, because it's something that we'll be hearing all the time, and sometimes we might not be able to make a lot of sense out of it. But what I'm going to do this morning, God willing, is to help all of us see how to love God with all our hearts, and of course, to love God, and how loving God with all our hearts, how it shows up in how we spend energy. Okay, we'll talk about loving God now with our strength, how we spend energy, how we purpose over time, and how we choose obedience when it costs us something. And that is where the faith and action come together. Intersection between your faith and your action. So think about it. You love what you give your strength to. That's just it. Whatever you give your strength to, you love. Whatever you spend time on, whatever you put energy to, you ultimately will love that thing. You know what the Bible said, that wherever your treasure is, your heart will be there. Whatever you have acquired, whatever you have put energy to. And of course, if you look at your calendar, you will see where you put your strength to. Now, I'm a calendar kind of person. I have to map out everything, appointments, everything. I have to make sure I put them down. And so even as I was thinking about this class, I had to go think about my calendar. And from there, it became obvious, really, where I put my strength. As a young intern, we were trained with something that we call time management sheets. And I still use it today. Today, time management sheet. And I'll encourage interns, I give it to them. The time management sheet is just one page. And that one page basically covers a week of your life. Okay, it starts 5 in the morning and it ends 10. Okay, each day it starts on Sunday. Okay, 5 in the morning, everyone are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way to 10 p.m. And so what I learned doing as an intern is to fill up, we block it. Like, for example, if there are things that happen every week that we know they are static. Like, let's say, going to church on Sunday, maybe midweek service on Wednesday, Bible discussion on Thursday, or whatever. So those ones are non-negotiable. They already. So after we blocked all those places, let's say staff meeting, whatever. So the remaining portion is not where we now put appointments. So when somebody wants to book appointment with me, I'll say, okay, let me go and see where the appointment is going to go. So after I've done that for 1 week, okay, I'll put it aside. After 4 weeks, which is a month, when I lay them out, or if an intern gives me their 4 weeks timesheet and I lay them out, I can draw a graph of where you have spent your time. Then I can now suggest what you need to do more. Based on that, okay, I think you need to go out, you need to relax more. I think you're overworked. I think I've not seen any dates. Your Saturday is like filled with dates. So, filled with appointments of other things, So all those things, it shows where our strength goes. So your calendar, maybe if you're a calendar person too, go and look at your calendar. And if you're interested in the timesheets, that time, just send me a WhatsApp message and I'm going to send you just one page that's going to help you to block every single thing. So your stamina, leaves a print everywhere you go. So Jesus Christ names strength as part of loving God. In that passage we just read now, he names strength as part of loving God, not emotions. Okay, not emotions alone, not beliefs alone, not whatever alone. There's something that we say in the coaching industry. We say wherever focus goes, energy flows. Anywhere that focus goes, energy flows. Even as I'm turning my focus on different things around me, my energy automatically will go there. So whatever you focus on, your energy will automatically go to that place. So loving God includes your energy, includes your efforts, and includes endurance. Here is the question that we might want to ask ourselves, even as I think about that. So where does your best strengths go each week? Like I said, if I look at my calendar, I can tell where does my best strengths go each week. I can tell you upfront, my best strength each week, I look at my calendar, it goes into research, writing, meetings. That basically it. Research. I do a lot of research. I do a lot of writing. Like this morning now at like 9 o'clock, I should be out of the house. I have young Christians trainers workshop. I'm going to be training the what they call it, the trainers of the young Christian, the coordinators all over West Africa. So I'm going to be there mostly today from morning till maybe afternoon. So my energy is going to go there. So most of the things I do really every day is to write. I do a lot of writing. I write classes. I'm going to be writing a lot. I have a training I'm doing this week. I have a training I'm doing next week. So I'm always writing. I'm always training. I'm always doing either virtual training or physical training. So that is where most of my strength go every single day, like the top, and of course attending very important, meetings. So let's talk about strength. I believe that strength makes every one of you. It makes love visible. Why strength? Because strength makes love visible. So when you look at my strength, where I put my strength, you can guess where my love is. My love is in teaching. My love is in training. My love is in writing. In the professional world, what I do is L&D, learning and development. That's basically what I do. Or I'm with the School of Mission. So that is basically what I do. Now, Jesus Christ began to break, spotlight all of these things. So Jesus lists not just strengths alone, but he lists strengths alongside. I'm looking at what he said here. He lists strength alongside the heart, the soul, the mind. The heart, the soul, the mind. So strength has to go there. So strength points to action. Okay, that's what it does. Yeah, you see your soul. Loving God with your soul. You can see that. Loving God with your mind. Nobody can see whether you love God with your mind. Nobody can do that. One of the things I began doing back again is to do prayer walks. So this week I went back to doing long prayer walks. And while I saw a lot of people in the neighborhood, this January, or rather people just like exercising, but mine was actually prayer walk for like an hour, just walking around doing prayer walk. But what people see is, oh, this guy is exercising, but nobody can see what's going through my mind. Nobody can see. So when he sees my strength, that is, he is exercising. So strength points to action. And thinking about action, you might have to ask yourself, so what do you do with your body? So if God talks about loving God with your strength, so it's your body's action. So what have you been doing with your body? What have you done with your time? What have you done with your focus? What have you done with your persistence? That's persistent energy. That is what God wants. So love can only stay visible. It can stay visible, but it can also be invisible without efforts. Okay, you can love someone and only you know that you love the person because it's invisible. But when that love begins to go into action, you begin to talk to that person, buy things for that person, want to get to know that person, then that is where the effort will not come in. So strength now turns devotion. What strength does is that strength turns your devotion into a behavior. Okay, behavior is basically what you do and how you do everything. And that is your I'm looking for synonyms. Synonyms will be like conduct. Okay, behavior will be like the way you conduct yourself, the way your performance, the way you perform, the way you compliment. You can't say love something and you don't compliment it. So that is why your love can stay invisible without any effort, any putting any effort into it. But what happens that what exposes your love is the strength. Your strength now turns devotion into a behavior because you love something with a devotion in your heart. What you do, your strength turns it now into a character, a behavior. Now I'm looking at a lot of things going through my mind at this time. I'm thinking you may feel love for God. You may feel love for something, for someone. That's a feeling. That's what you feel. Nobody sees your feeling. But what happens is that strength now shows it when you wake up early to pray. You may feel love for someone, but strength shows it when you buy the person a gift. You see that the gift is special or give person a flower. So what strength exhibits what we have in our hearts. So when strength also shows when you refuse shortcuts in things. They will say, "Man, this guy really devoted, to what he said." So when you keep serving after serving and your excitement begins to fade, people will see that, oh, this person's devotion is going down. So that is why action, loving with your strength, is very, very important. So I want you to think right now about training. Now, when I thought about it, I thought about myself. Training for a long distance race. All right. Think about training for I don't know if you've ever trained for that before. I remember a few times in my life I've trained for a long distance race. So good intention is good. Oh, I want to run a race. But good intention do not finish the race. For the fact that I say, oh, I want to run it, do not finish the race. What finishes the race is a commitment to effort. It's a conditioned effort. It's something that you now do. In one of the books that we read in the BPM, the SAM program, the goal setting program, was Atomic Habits. And in Atomic Habits, it says setting goal setting should not just stop. I know that many of us right now, it's January, you are setting a goal of what you want to achieve this year, whether your spiritual life, in your academic life, your physical life, whatever life. Everybody who goes to the Olympic, they all go there to win. I mean, just a few days ago, our country, Nigeria, was knocked out of the African Cup of Nation. That was very painful for many individuals. Even me, that I'm not a soccer lover. You see, everybody goes there to win. But it's the action. It was penalties. All right. I mean, they played first half, second half 0-0. I mean, I didn't watch it. I only saw the discourse and the short clip review. It was 0-0. They now went into penalty and it ended up 2-4. So it's not intention. Based on intention, I'll tell you, based on intention, based on forecast, based on goodwill, Nigeria was number one to win that tournament. We have everything. We have, but of course, intention is not. It's not your action that is. So we need to think about it. Faith works the same way. The Bible said that faith without action is dead. So what I want us to do, beginning this week, again, if you use a calendar, go to your calendar and look at it. Me, I keep a to-do list every single day. Every single day. I know I'm going to do it next week. I know many I'm going to be doing next month. I know that right now I have my appointments up to April, the end of April. May, I don't know what's happening in May, but up to April, I know there are things that I'm going to be doing. So I want us to audit our energy today, okay, if you will. Audit your energy, today. And I want you to name one activity that receives strength that is meant for God. Name one activity that receives strength that is meant for God. I can share with you one of the downside that I had early this week. Is it this week or last week? Early this week. For some reason, I told myself I'm supposed to walk. Then somebody sent me a WhatsApp message. Then from there, I don't know what happened. I can't remember. Then something came up on Facebook, and it has to do with politics or whatever. And I began scrolling. Believe you me, I was doing that for like way over 30 minutes. Over 30 minutes. And I was like, and I couldn't stop. And I told myself, don't worry, after this one, I will stop. I'll go back to work after this one. And I felt so guilty. I felt so bad. I was like, I've wasted so much time. I'm supposed to be doing, so you can imagine the energy that I'm supposed to be using on my research, on my writing, on the classes I'm preparing. I just diverted them. I mean, those things will always, wait. So in the same way, ask yourself, what are the things right now, activities that receives strength meant for God? Do a strength or do it for yourself. That is the things you do. So because strength is actually stewardship. Okay. What you spend your time doing. Remember, we're talking about the act of being, becoming. Okay. Whatever you do constantly, you become. All right. So it's very, very important that if you are going to become, you have to make sure that you focus on practicing that thing that you want to do. So God watches all of us. God watches how you manage your capacity. Not just the one you claim. Not just, I claim I have this one, whatever. Okay, you have it, but how do you manage those capacity? Very, very important. Now, another thing I see here is that strength must last longer than your feeling. You can feel something today, you can feel tomorrow, but your strength should be able to last longer. That feel, and it's not very easy to explain. But let me see if I can explain it. Let me go back to Joshua. Caleb was standing before Joshua here. 45 years after, he was 85 years old, and he remembers a promise that was given 45 years earlier. He remembered that was like something that was said. It became a feeling. They were not in the promised land, but it was said 45 years old. Now he stayed aligned. That word again, aligned, while others were drifting away. So over time, feelings can change. Over time, feelings can be derailed. But your strength, if your strength keeps on ahead, no matter what your feeling is, you're going to do. So that's exactly what happened even in a marriage relationship. Because your feelings can change. It's not people that are married, it's not every day you feel like you're married. It's every day that you're excited. You're like, oh, I don't like what he did. I don't like what she did, whatever. But you still have to help one another. You still have to love one another. So his strength did not peak at his youth. But so it matured, through the patience that I went through. And again, that is what marriage is supposed to be. Okay, it's supposed to mature. It's supposed to get stronger. Even as you grow older. In the next months, in next year, I will have married for 30 years. That's a long time, to be married. 30 years. And I'll tell you, I'm fired up. I'm excited about what my marriage, has become over the years. So waiting did not weaken his faith. Okay, waiting did not. So time, that waiting did not weaken his faith. Rather, what I'll say it's actually, that delay in getting that thing, it actually refined his faith. So time should refine it, should make it stronger. And a very interesting illustration that you might want to look at is tree. A tree, when it grow older, when it grows stronger, they actually grow stronger. If you cut a tree clean cut, you'll see rings. Those rings are their yearly growths, because every year they will change their back, so it will leave a ring. So the ring, they actually grow strongest. The tree grows the strongest ring during harsh season. During harsh season, that is when they have to grow the strongest ring, because ring. So those rings are things that protect them. So comfort, thinking about that ring illustration. So comfort does not build endurance. Comfort does not, but what does is consistency that builds endurance. So like last year I was involved in a Toastmasters debate competition, and in that, it was a debate competition or a TV interview. It was a TV interview, and the topic was that success, not failure, is a better teacher. No, sorry, it was in Toastmasters, the debate competition. Success, not failure, is a better teacher. And I was speaking against that. Actually, failure is a better teacher. Think about it. What do you learn when you succeed and are doing something? What do you learn? Think about it really. Yeah, you learn to celebrate, whatever there, you just go on. In fact, when you succeed in something, you almost don't go back to look at what could I have done much better. We just say, hey, we succeed. But it is failure that really refines you. I'm not saying that success doesn't teach you anything, but failure is a better teacher. Okay. When you fail, that is when you learn. When a child passes exams, they don't care. But when a child fails an exam or repeats a class, that is when they learn. So with that, I asked myself, so what promise have I been postponing? Have I postponed trusting? Are there any promises that God has given to you? Remember, Caleb was given this promise 40 years prior to to that time, and sorry, 45 years prior to that time, and that delay they did not thwart his actions or what he was going to do. So, is there any promise in your life that you have postponed? Trusting because it has gone so far. So which area of your life has waiting reduced your efforts because it's delayed, so you don't put effort in it anymore because it's delayed? There's something called, I'm trying to remember right now, there's something called, it's a principle. I'll remember. I don't know, my brain just went blank. I'll remember shortly. So this principle is a principle, and if you remember, please type it on there so that I'll be able to do it. So it's a principle. Now I have to now take a look at the chat box. Yeah, I'm looking at there right now. So it's a principle that work expands to the level of time you give to it. Work expands to the level. I'm looking at who's going to type it out. Work expands to the level of work that you give to it. And it's something I had to figure out. I said, that's true. That's true. If you give me, or if I've seen times that I give myself an assignment, I'd be to write up a class or to write up a proposal, write up something, and I'm giving, and I always meet my goal, by the way, and I'm giving like 6 months to submit. And I'm going to submit it maybe a day before expiration of the time I'm going to do it. Now, if you give me the same, the same assignment, I say you submit it in 2 days. Remember, 6 more 2 days. Guess what? I will still do it in 2 days. So people have studied that phenomenon, and it was like, okay, that is where this guy, the guy that proposed it, that discovered he proposed it. That's the that named it. Is anybody? Parkinson's law. Thank you. Parkinson's law. My mind has been going Parkinson's law. Yeah. My eye have been going there. So like, somebody bail me out. Thank you so much. You guys are so smart. So Parkinson's law. So let me go back to the Bible now that I've seen Parkinson's law. Okay, so Parkinson's law. So the longer you give yourself time, so what you do within that 6 months, I'm doing this, I'm going to parties, whatever, I'm setting my table, I will not do the work. I said, don't worry, time, time still there. But when you squeeze down the time, I will still do it at that time. It happens to everybody. It happens to everybody. That work Parkinson's law, states that work expands to the level, to the time that you give to it. Work will expand. So you're going to feel all the work we doing, you'll finish it. If you say 2 days, you give me 2 days for that, I'll still deliver 2 days. So today, ask yourself, when you are waiting, what do you do? Okay, when you are waiting, what do you do? What promises have you postponed trusting because it has taken time? Okay, strength in scripture often means, for me, is the staying power. Okay, no strength in scripture. Hold on to the Bible is everything I do, really. Bible, I'm always looking at, I'm a teacher, I'm always looking at what does the Bible say, what does it say, and God honors, sustains obedience more than your short burst. And I learned that lesson. My very first attempt to do a long, distance race was in secondary school. So you might not believe it. I was used to, long the distance. I will run. I wake up in the morning. I will run down the neighborhood. I'm like several streets. I'll just be jogging. Then I'll come to school like 6 in the morning. I'm usually the first guy to get to school. I'll get to school very early in the morning. I'll put down my bag, everything, change to my track, and begin to run around the field, jog around the field, everything. And so teachers will become those. Emmanuel is very serious. So when it came to the time of the entire sport, obviously I was selected to be one of those guys that will run the race. We were supposed to run the field like, 4 times. It was 4 by 4, 4 times. And all of us were there. Final day of the event. On your marks, get set, go. Boom. And I took up with all the strength in my body. I was the first. I was on the first in the first leg. I was on the second leg. I was on the first when we started the third leg. Then later on, I began seeing people pass me one by one. And I came last. Because I've not learned the rudiments of running long distance. For me, it was a burst. I just started, I started running a sprint. As if I was running a sprint. So many times for us, it's like that, God will honor the people that got the prize, the first, second, third. If I one of the guys who was in my class, I was asking him again, he was bigger than me. He doesn't look like a long distance person. That guy, finished before me. And like me, that was more fit. I couldn't, do it. So God sustained, obedience, more than the short burst. So it is not the person who started first initially that gets the prize. Those people who consistently, they were going consistently. So is that consent? So that taught me a big, lesson. After that race, that failed race, I finished secondary school. I remember then I used to live in Egbeda. I began taking long distance very seriously. I will run from Shasha, something I know, Shasha. I will run from Shasha all the way to Akonjo, to Dokbemu, cross the bridge. I will run all the way to Yanokbaja, cross the bridge, turn around and go straight facing Idimu, Egbeda, run wherever down. I will do it every Saturday. Because I now learned that it's not the sprints. It is the consistency. So I want you to ask yourself right now. You know how you say amen? Let's start with that. Do you finish? You see, strength chooses different obedience. Okay, you need to strength, but you need to be able to match it well. It's not the gra that will start with. Hey, I'm fired up. I'm back. Many people who are fired up. Where are they today? But is that sustenance? So Caleb asked for, I'm getting some feedback. If that's you, please mute. All right, thank you. Caleb, asked for the mountain that was still occupied by giants. He said, remember, those guys are still there. Those guys you guys claim that they are there. Others went to go and choose the soft, the low hanging fruits, aka for example, the Reubenites, my dear Reubenites, and the Gadites. Reuben, when I went to Joshua and said, I beg, give us this, I must give us this place. I promise that this place is good. And we like to keep flocks. And this is our flock. And of course, it makes sense because Reuben is the firstborn. If you look at it's Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zabulon, they went all the way. So usually the firstborn is the one that gets the first share. So Reuben, I said, can you please give us this one? So they chose the one that are very, very good. So loving God with your strength It means facing what others will avoid. Okay, doing the hard work. And in a way, my life has been like that, really. What people will not want to do, I'll say, let me go and do it. It's not for attention, but for obedience. This thing, it needs to be done, so we're going to do it. So what happens is that what comfort does when you are just relaxed, comfort drains spiritual strength. Okay, that's right. When you get complacent, when you are relaxed, it drains your strength. What happens is challenge is what develops. Think about your muscle, for example. If you want to build muscle, you don't build muscle by just sleeping, hanging out. You build muscle by exerting pain on that thing. It grows through resistance. It's not like, oh, let me just go and chill out, whatever. You don't grow muscle that way. So no resistance, no strength. Okay, so faith follows the same rule for every one of us, today. So think about one area in your life today, right now. Think about one area where comforts has replaced obedience in your life. What area has comforts replaced obedience? You're supposed to do something, or you just, I can't keep myself, Joe, whatever. And gradually, you are beginning to set in. And I want all of us to take a courageous step today. Take a courageous step. Find that area. It could be your Bible study. It could be your personal prayer life. It could be your outreach. It could be any area of your life. It could be even, I don't know, even if coming to meetings early. So find those areas today and begin to put energy to it. So God often assign growth through difficulties. The times I've grown the most have been times, and I'm sure you too, have been times where I've faced challenges. Or things have not been as it is. Think about it, a student who has to go and read his book with a candlelight, or go to a neighbor's house that they have generator. That's how students are very, very serious. I remember when I was doing my master's in seminary, and I had to lead a very, very active ministry campus. I have to be in all the meetings, teaching every single thing. When I finished, I remember where I was the last day I wrote my final exam. I was in Lome after attending a conference. So it was the last of the conference on a Sunday. And so I told them, can I go to the hotel? It was late at night because I have to finish my last exam by midnight, which is the US time, which is our own time here, which corresponds to another time US. I can't remember how did it. So I had to finish it. And when I finished it, I was like, wow. And I wrote down every place I've taken exams, 25 cities around the world, different countries. I've written exams in South Africa. I've written exams in every airport you can take from Kigali. I've written exams in Ikogosi, Warm Spring. I've done in Abuja. I've done in Kenya. I've done in Tanzania. I've done everywhere. I've done it everywhere. Anywhere I'm writing exam because I have to work as I go. And that was where I discovered that in the seats at the plane, there's actually a plug underneath where you can plug your laptop. To fire to ask whether I can plug. They say, oh, then so the plane is flying, people are sleeping. I am working. I'm writing exams. I'm writing, projects and every single thing. And guess what? My result was excellent. But like, boom. By the time I applied for my PhD, I got it immediately. They didn't have to worry about it because I had actually done more courses than an average master. In fact, my professor wanted to have a double master's degree. So I was going for a double master degree, but the courses I was to take to finish up the second master degree was not available. It's like a rotates on the app. I'm going to wait for another 1 year or so. I said, why wait? I just applied for PhD. Boom, that's how I got my PhD. So that's where strength flows from God, not from pride. So Caleb credited God. He credits God for sustaining him. He said, all this year God has sustained him. Strength did not come from just self-confidence. I say, I will do it. No, this is an 85-year-old man. It can't be self-confidence. It comes from an alignment. Obviously, if you read the story, go and read that story. You think 85-year-old man was one that was doing the whole fighting. I don't want to let it come out, but there's something that he did. He called these people and, okay, let me tell you, he offered anybody that would lead this charge, will marry his beautiful daughter. I had a beautiful daughter. All the men were excited. So he also had strategy, all right, because he was aligned. So God supplies endurance to those who stay faithful. Okay, he was able to see. He was that man, one of the men I recorded in the Bible, who actually gave a portion of land to his daughter. So when they say that the women do not inherit things, Caleb's daughter inherited where they now call Megiddo, very with springs and everything. So dependence will fuel your persistence. The more you depend on God, the more it's going to fuel your persistence. So it took works only where when you're connecting to power. These two will work. We are connected with power. And as I'm thinking about what I have a lamp here, and I have one here. I have several lamps. You can see. I don't know if you can see my face has gone a bit dark, and it has gone light again, dark and light. The only way it can work is because it's connected to a source of power. So your tool will work only when you're connected to power. So this connection will lead you to burn out. And that's why you see some people say, this guy know the tire. Look at you being what? Because you don't know the source of power, where your source of strength is coming from. So your spiritual life is that one also. So I want you to challenge yourself even today and this week. What practice keeps you connected to God daily? Ask yourself, what are the practices that keep you connected to God? What habits do you need to restore today? Remember, this thing about strength goes beyond just something simple, just reciting a love of your heart. Strength is very, very cool. So God, never demands strength without offering us supply. If God said, Lord, with your strength, be sure that God is able to supply. So pray for that strength. God can give it. God, please give me the strength. This one, God will give you the strength. Grace will now empower the effort that it takes. But you see, if you don't make efforts, how will you know that I have the strength? What's the time now? Oh, oops, we're running out of time. Sorry, I can't see clearly whatever. But one of the last thing I want to say is that what happens with strength? Strength will end up directing your future. Okay, Caleb's request shaped his legacy. Okay, he did not finish passive like some people would. Okay, end of his life is like doing. He finished purposeful. Okay, he finished purposeful. So your strength will determine your finish line, not your age as a Christian. Not your season where you are, not your history. It's not, I've done it before. Look at my, this one. No. It's going to decide what legacy, what you're going to look at. So two runners, will start a race. One will train, the other will rely on talents. Guess what? Only one will finish. It's one who trains that will finish. It's not the one that I get that before. I used to do it. I know how to do it. It's not your know-how. You have to, apart from knowing, you have to train, you have to become, you have to put effort. That's why strength comes in becoming. If you don't eat those barbells, you cannot grow those muscles. If you don't set the alarm clock, you will wake up early. If you don't put in time in study, you will not know. If you have to put in strength in whatever you do. So how do you want to finish your season of your life right now? How do you want to finish this season of your life? And what are the strength that you are investing that will help you, to finish? It is those. If you look at people who are into, exercise or whatever, they seem to grow old gracefully. All right, you never tell when they are doing it, but they are stronger. Their muscles tone, their bones, because you lose calcium as you get older. They cannot be able to stand up straight. And it is the effort they put in over the years. Have done it. So becoming, for you to become, it requires long obedience in the same direction. You must be fixated at doing those things over and over and over. It's long obedience. It's not just one boss, let me go to the gym one day and leave whatever. Nothing will happen. Second day, nothing will happen. But the third day, you feel pain. You want to climb your staircase, you cannot lift your leg. It's no pain. If you stop, then you failed. But when don't those pain, keep on doing. After a while, it happens to me so many times. After a while, if you don't leave those bells, you tell you go and live. It becomes your body begins to yearn, for it. So today, the call to action is for all of us to love God with all our visible strength. Love God with all your visible strength. I'm not talking about your mental strength, your visible strength. Apply efforts where faith has grown casual. Well, but just try, put some effort. Choose obedience over ease. Don't just walk up past. Don't just walk up past. Put in. I know it's difficult. I know it's challenging. Just do something. Persist where result feels slow. And persist. If result, I'm not seeing it, continue. Persist. Then of course you're going to now recommit to one discipline. What is that one discipline that can build your endurance? So do not wait for motivation from anyone. You need to lead with commitment. It's not motivation. Oh, because I don't like. Oh, my Bible told you that didn't do whatever. Oh, the sermon didn't go. No, if you keep on for that thing, you're going to on your own. Bible says, train yourself to be godly. Train yourself to be godly. Yes, you're going to get some help, like early morning devotional, discipline, every single thing. Sunday sermon, Wednesday sermon, pair disciple, whatever. But you yourself must desire it. Where does your best energy go? Again, I ask. What promises are you today still holding loosely? Where you're losing loosely, and what hard obedience, have you delayed? You're supposed to do it, but somehow, this Parkinson's law. You have to remember that. Parkinson's law is working on you. For me, I tell myself that I love God with sustained strength. You have to tell yourself that I love God with sustained strength. I remain faithful over time. My strength is not going to diminish because my how do I say, not my title change or my position change. My strength is going to remain because God supplies endurance as I obey. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing in season and out of season. Please go back and read the follow up, the recommended scriptures. Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 4 to 9, Isaiah chapter 40 verse 28 to 31, 1 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 24 to 27, Hebrews chapter 12. I love that Hebrews chapter 12 verse 1 to 3, and that's all I can share today. Sorry again about I think my eyes is kind of not helping me here. So is there anything anybody want to share? Is there anything that jumped out for you about this strength? What I try to do is to unpack this strength, because it can look very easy, not be strength, but you don't know what it means. I want to unpack. So even as you go and read the Power series, it will really, really make a lot of sense to you. Is there anything you want to share quickly before the time goes? I will pray. That's all right. Frank Onwa. And Frank, you're going to, after share, you're going to pray.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I used to get very frustrated when I see, especially when my wife and I were leading, when I see apathy in people for a long time. Like, how someone's supposed to be in this situation for a very long time, they are not coming out of themselves, and even for myself, sometimes I feel like it's been a while that I went on the streets or even shared my faith, and I'm like, how long am I supposed to be here? And it used to generate a lot of frustration. But I think what you have said now helps me to be more gracious to myself and other people, which is about the fact that comfort drains energy. And the longer one remains in that comfort zone, the more difficult it is to now snap out of it, to go back to doing the things that one is supposed to do. So what then should I do? Is to first plug myself back to the source of power, which is God, and then help those people as well to get connected back to the source of power. Because without that, just like a rechargeable fan, if it's not plugged to power, the battery that has charging it will drain over time. And I've seen myself burning out from time to time. I'm like, I'm not doing this again because I'm just tired. But I now begin to see the source, the root of the issue, for me and maybe for other people. So that's one of the key things that jumped at me, the fact that comfort drains energy. The same way when you sit in a class and you are listening to somebody teach you, the people who listen are actually spending more energy, and that's why sometimes you need to check people's attention span when you are training or you are teaching them, because it takes a lot of energy to listen than even the person that is speaking. So thank you. I got that, and I hope I can just put that into practice to help me jumpstart areas of my life that I've just not been doing anything.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Frank. Thank you, Frank. I want to say something before you pray. Both the person teaching and the person listening, they all spend energy. But the person teaching, because they are active, their energy keeps going. But the person that is not doing anything, just listening, the energy reduces. That's why they fall asleep, they get whatever. So that is where you have to, when you are active, what you're doing, it sustains your energy. But when not doing much, your energy goes down. You lose energy fast. And you lose energy more than that guy. But that guy keeps recharging his phone because he's walking around, he's talking, he's engaged. But when you're not engaged, your energy goes down. That's where sleep becomes much easier. But the student who is engaged with their eyes, who is answering question, put up their hand, whatever, they don't fall asleep. Maybe that happens here too during our devotional. I just want to add that. Frank, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Let us pray. Precious Father, we are so